Hello everybody, welcome to the second video of Monday. The next video is going to be focused on Cosmic Ghost Rider. This champion has come into the game and is a very much typical Cosmic, similar to the one that was the first one of this month, except has a twist. So typical Cosmic with a twist. The twist is there's a lot of debuff effects that this champion has, from power control elements and power locking, not to mention armor break, incinerate, basically like the version that we have, the standard mystic version of Ghost Rider, but a little bit more. And I love this guy, especially with ramp ups of damage and especially with buffs and hitting off good amounts of damage if you understand rotations of this champion. Kabam explain the mechanics of this champion as playing Ghost Rider is like a choose your own adventure of buffs. Different actions trigger different buffs, and buffs cause judgments. Judgments are what Cosmic Ghost Rider is after, as they increase the duration of further buffs until he consumes his judgments and the loop starts over. Controlling the order Cosmic Ghost Rider's buffs are triggered it is key to getting the maximum value of the high impact ones, and then combining them with armor breaks to reach a max potential. When battling against Cosmic Ghost Rider, your concern becomes preventing his buffs and therefore their associated judgments. Fate Seal is a useful reset button on his building counter, and the unblockable buff on his special one needs to be respected if that judgment hasn't triggered yet. Once his signature ability unlocks, he becomes much more dangerous on defense, as allowing him to reach his 5th judgment and then trigger much more dangerous damnation debuff. So as Kabam say, and as I even found myself, how you play the champion is your own perspective. I think for me, very first thing I wanted to do was kind of see from a questing perspective how quick it was to then build certain things. So first of all, the idea was like, okay, let's do the light attacks and get the power gain off, because then I want to get to the SP3. By the judgment of power gain, which is 5-hit combo with a light attack, if the judgment of power gain is not active, 100% chance to trigger a power gain buff, granting 70% of the bar of power over 1.25 seconds, whatever it is. I get to an SP3 a little bit more quicker. Not, it's not instant, but still, it's like I've then gone into the SP3. I've grabbed the Fury buff, and then by the end of it, I think I did like a Moon Knight fight in 6.1.6 for Hurt Locker. And that's something that's a bit of an issue if you're looking for like rotations of special attacks to get yourself the Cruelty buff off of the SP2. If you're looking to get the Vigilant buff off of the SP1. If you're looking to do those kind of things, then Hurt Locker does limit that particular stretch to go from one to the other, but it's still kind of like, I don't think it overly matters. As I said, the idea was to get the power gain buff, then to get into the SP3, to get the Fury buff, maybe do a cheeky little heavy attack, and then it's a case you're able to slap in a good amount of damage. Aptitude off the heavy attack means that you're going to be amplifying those Fury buffs, Cruelty buffs, and armor buffs. But it's like, again, it puts you back to what Kabam said, and it's like playing Ghost Rider is choose your own adventure. You can build the buffs you want. I don't think there's any kind of great set rotation, but still, if you are able to rotate pretty well, and as well keep those buffs on longer with those judgments, then you're going to have a lot of fun with the damage output, and definitely puts this as the #1 Herald, and that does compare off with the likes of Airwalker, Terrux, and Silver Surfer. So it's good to see that we now have the best of the Heralds now out in game. Now, just a quick question I think people will want to ask: is the champion like good or better to be awakened? And the answer is no, not really. Yes, it is important to get that damnation debuff, and yes, it's great to get that power lock and heal block and fate sealed from the damnation debuff, but look, that's going to be down to the player's choice on what and how they interact, and especially with like different content to take this champion against. Again, this is the same issue I had with Red Goblin. Not to say that like there's nothing of interest for me to take the champion. Yeah, you could see some people using this champion for Abyss of Legends. Would I recommend it? Probably not, especially with a lot of different pair-ups that you do get along the line, and especially the way that, a lot of these old buffed up champions seem to be better than they are. But like, you've got to be real on the situation of going like, okay, well, he may be good for a certain paths, especially in the likes of Act 6. I did try him out in a few areas, but it wasn't something to kind of go, okay, I can definitely see something. He gets lots of buffs, so therefore, is he going to be good against buffed up? Yeah, again, same principle going, that's kind of fine. But again, looking at the idea of, look, there's multiple nodes and going for specific paths, going, yes, this champion will be good for like 6.2.4 and saying, okay, it's this path here that it's going to be good for. If you're looking for an extra cosmic because its gating system is 6.2, of course. And don't even try 6.2.3 because you get fury buffs from the SP3 and buffs will be staying on longer. Rotations of heavy attacks have to be considered for that as well, which kind of could play into your favor, but at the same time, why would you want to spend all that time with fury buffs on, especially if you're going to degen with 6.2.3? So that's really the thing, is yes, it's a good champion, and yes, there's a lot of damage output, but the same problem seems to be applied. If you want something that's going to be having limited restrictions when it comes to path interaction, 6.3 in general has some areas of interaction which would be quite good. 6.1, there's a lot of stuff in there the champion would be good for, and the same thing with maybe some paths of 6.4. But that's again the specific nature and the problem with Act 6 in general. New champions and a lot of champions can't be one size fits all. There are a lot of champions which do fit that mold, which, you know, just off the top of my head, Nick Fury, Doctor Doom, Apocalypse, the list goes on. But this is definitely not one of those champions. The champion could work quite well with the likes of Labyrinth of Legends, especially with like quick build up and stuff. If you're looking to like build up damage as quickly as possible, then, you know, this could be a relatively alright option. Especially with damage output, could be a good thing. I would say sustainability is something to be questioned, and your setup as a team would have to be questioned as well, especially if you're looking to kind of maximize the team being all around this champion. So that's something to consider as well with this. But there is definitely some tasty damage on offer if you are willing to put in the effort for this. Like, look, that's some nice scalable damage there, apart from me eating it into the face, but I am using my old device for this. But it's just a case of showcasing, especially as quick as I can live, just like quick damage build up and quick damage ramp up. So if you are looking for an option, it could be good for Labyrinth of Legends, that is. At the end of the day, it all boils down to choice. And choice is, I'm going to be using the 11 Pro. Yes, right, the iPhone 11 Pro is what I'm using at the moment, and that's what's showcased on screen now. You can see every time I switch between devices, we have the kind of the strips. Unfortunately, the 11 Pro isn't very good for maximizing for video coverage, which you've noticed probably in several different videos. I do change when I'm doing more kind of explanation things and having stuff in. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Right, the on screen at the moment, the interaction between Cosmic Ghost Rider and Winter Soldier. Yes, the classic Winter Soldier fight. And you can see, like, I'm just playing this a bit differently. I'm all about kind of building up the power gain, especially by doing the 5-hit combo in power, Cosmic Judgment, all those judgments and such like. So yeah, move over to the SP3, and this is all about like quick burst damage, because at the end of the day, I really can't bother with long fights. I do find them incredibly boring. But yeah, here's the thing. To quickly just get on with the fight, go into an SP3 as quickly as possible. This will get the Fury buff. And then once we've got the Fury buff on, it'll be a case of like, we have had the Aptitude one on for a little while, but I want to rebuild it up. Aptitude's now on, so that's amplifying damage for that Cruelty and as well that Fury. I quickly want to get this done, going to SP2 with a Fury up, hitting in at damage 10k, 12k, and wow, okay, that was a lot of damage right there. I need to kind of like go back and have a look. I probably put on screen on the edit how much damage that was, but that's quick burst damage. That is what I wanted to see. But here's the thing, I'm now back to 0 and I have to then focus on rebuilding. The 4 judgments are on, and it will be best to kind of build up to the 5 judgments to get that damnation up, as that will be beneficial for me, especially when it comes to kind of doing some debuff damage in a moment. I don't think I'm doing 5-hit combos, and that's on me there for not doing that, to kind of click that up. I think that comes on in a minute, especially in this video, or if not, I've probably put on at some point when that's happened, or I'm not kind of doing the correct transition to get that damnation up. But definitely something to work on from my perspective. Especially, unfortunately, I only had today to make the video on the champion. But, you know, it's just how it goes. And there's the damnation there. So that finally showing that, showcasing that damage ticking away. And yeah, all good. That's actually the lowest hit points that I've done that in. If you had Suicide Masteries, I'm sure this would be a lot lower. Very beneficial for those that do have the champion with Suicide Masteries, especially with him being bleed immune. So yeah, but I like, guys, I really enjoyed this champion. In any case, that has been the video. I did really enjoy Cosmic Ghost Rider. I would say that it's the same thing as the one previously. Usage is going to be a bit of an issue as to where this champion has a life to. But I think as a quester, month in, month out, it could be pretty fun, especially with dealing with situations of champions that have buffs and as well need to be power controlled a little bit, and armor breaks, which are going to be quite important for certain interactions, and maybe some challenges that maybe Kabam are going to put in the future. There's definite use for this champion, and also there may be something of like a further bit of endgame content this champion would be good for as well. But in any case, thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure to check out some content on screen at the moment, and I'll see you all very soon. Good day, God bless, and all that stuff.